Hey everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple, and this is YouTube number 152, and today is Saturday with Stacy. That's what we're calling my Saturday YouTubes now, Saturday with Stacy, because I am doing a YouTube every Saturday. Woohoo! Now today's YouTube is something I've been waiting to bring to you. I first saw them at CHA at the Docraft's booth and ordered them right then and there, and ordered a lot of them. They actually direct shipped us. But then I saw them again in Germany, and I confirmed, yep, I absolutely have to have these. These are wonderful. And that was also late January, early February, and it is now the end of April and almost May, and they are here. Yeah, it's almost May because you'll be seeing this on the 30th of April. So they are finally here. And yes, Scrapbooking Made Simple is the very first in the country to have them. We have them in stock. We have them ready to go. I am really thrilled to bring you their new cut and emboss folders. Oh. But first, before we get there, I have Winner Chicken Dinner to talk about. And that was from YouTube number 151. And that was my last release of Simply Defined, which was Forever and a Day, and it had our new contour edge dies. And I'm just gonna say I'm so sorry. I know they sold out. Everything sold out really quick. There are a few dies left of the collection, but it sold out much faster than I ever anticipated it. And we increased our order, and I thought it would hold us. And really, for me, it's a guessing game. I don't know how much to order every release. And I can't go back and reorder because we can't afford to, because there's another release coming the next month. We're still a small company. We've just started manufacturing. And so for those of you who did not get the contour die or the dies that you want, the best thing I can do is recommend you go to the website. You click on the item you want. There is a notify me button where you put your email address in, and should people cancel their orders, or if they chose pay later and they choose not to pay for their orders, those products will go back in stock and be made available to you. I really wish I could reorder these. We have a budget, and I have to stick to that budget, because if I don't, then I'll overextend, and if I overextend, and then I won't sleep at night. So it would be one thing if all we were doing were Simply Defined and Simply Refined product, if that's all we sold, but we're a retail store. So I have to have adhesive, and I have to have cardstock, and I have to have new stamps by other companies, and the stuff I'm showing you today, I had to be able to bring that into you. So I appreciate your understanding of the Simply Defined and Simply Refined being one and done. When they are gone unless there is a cancellation or somebody doesn't pay for their order or they return it. And let me tell you, it happens all the time. A lady called in today. She ordered the contour die, the beautiful contour edge dies that sold out in a heartbeat. And she ordered it last Saturday, and she called in wondering where it was and why it hadn't reached her yet. And we explained that our standard, our goal for shipping regular orders, non-sale orders, is within 30 days. And she said, I don't want to wait for it. And we said, okay, so we canceled her order for her right away. But that means that item, contour die, went right back into stock. And somebody who was on the notify me list got it. So the notify me is there for every item, and when it goes out of stock, there's a little notify me button, and you can put your email address in, and when something comes back in stock, it emails everybody who wants to be notified, and then it's just a first come first serve basis. And if you don't get it, if somebody got it before you, put your name back on the notify me list, because we have people who cancel their orders or choose pay later and then don't pay for their orders. So then we can put those items right back into stock, and it could be your lucky day. So now, Winner Chicken Dinner, you have won some product of Simply Defined, yay, including the new Colorations paper pack, the 48 sheets of 80-pound cardstock for $9.99 that we put together. So we have that for you, and another goodie. Do you want to know if it's you who won? Well, if you are Alexandria Gomez, congratulations, Alexandria Gomez. You're our latest Winner Chicken Dinner, and you have won some Simply Defined product from Scrapbooking Made Simple. I I hope you like it. Also, if you are Patricia Hendricks, congratulations, Patricia Hendricks. You too have won a nice little prize package from Scrapbooking Made Simple with some simply defined product in it. Now, if you want to be a winner chicken dinner, all you have to do is watch this YouTube, post your comment, keep it nice, just kind, and I will approve it. And then you go into the running for a winner chicken dinner. If you ask a question via YouTube, just know I'm not able to respond to all the questions. We get questions on email, we get questions on Facebook, we get questions on YouTube, and I can't keep track. So if you do have a question, don't hesitate to email us at asksms@scrapbookingmadesimple.com. asksms@scrapbookingmadesimple.com. That way I don't miss it, because I do miss a lot of questions on YouTube and on Facebook. Okay? All right, so for today, I have Docrafts. Now it's Saturday, April 30th, and downstairs we have a whole host of girls doing the free make and take. I am going to tilt on down. We're going to get started today, and I can't wait to bring you the new Docrafts, the X Cuts, Cut and Emboss folders. Wait till you see how they work, and wait till you see what we do with them. I think you're going to love them. All right, down we go, everybody. It's good to see you. Bye. All right. So I think that's okay. People always say, what are you doing? Well, I have to move the camera myself. We're low tech here. So I'm moving it to make sure that it's properly angled. Here is the make and take that they are doing downstairs. Now it's an embossing folder. You can see the bride is embossed, and you can see that the butterflies have been cut out and this oval has been cut out. That is part of the brand new product that we're going to show you. And we actually mounted it straight onto a 200-pound Simply Defined card base that we debuted last week. So this is what everybody is doing downstairs right now, and this is what I want to show you, because it is a unique product. There isn't anything else quite like it on the market, at least not yet. I'm sure that more will be coming, because it's easy, it's beautiful. If you have a big shot machine, a big kick machine, a vagabond machine, if you have a Cuttlebug machine, I would think a Grand Caliber machine, an Embosser machine, you are going to be able to do this. So I'm going to put that one to the side for right now, and I'm going to pull over what they actually look like. This is the product, and this is the one I just showed you. It has the bride down there, and it's an embossing folder, but it's an embossing folder that has a very special feature to it. So I'm going to put that over there, and I'm going to grab one that is out. Here it is. So can you see those little white pieces? What those are is a blade put into the embossing folder, so that when you send it through your machine, not only does it emboss like normal, but where those little blades are, it's going to cut. It's very much like a wafer die. You don't feel anything. There's nothing there to harm you. There's nothing there to cut you. So they're child friendly, which is very nice. But you get a little bit more oomph from it than just a basic embossing folder. Now I want to tell you a little bit about them before I show you how to use them, and I'm going to start using them in the easiest way, and then we're going to get a little more difficult and a little more difficult. First off, usually with an embossing folder, you want to see the manufacturer's name. That's how you know it's front. This is not the case. This time, if you can read that it was designed by, no, I don't know. Design Objectives is what it says, Docrafts. If you can read that, if you're using it and you can read that, it is wrong. You need the Design Objectives label on the back side. You need it on the back side. I know with Sizzix you want it in the front, but with Docrafts you want it in the back. That way you know you're looking at the embossing folder the proper way. Okay? That's really important. Next, because this is an cut embossing folder, we have to treat it a little bit different when we run it through our Big Shot machine. And I am going to show you how to do that right now. I am going to start with just a piece of plain paper. This is a piece of the colorations paper that comes in my my new cardstock pack from Simply Defined. You get 24 colors, 2 of each sheet, 48 sheets total for $9.99. So I've put my paper in there, and then I'm going to bring over my Big Shot machine. Now today I am using my regular old multi-purpose platform. Now if you have the longer platform, yes, you're going to use that. The newer machines come with the longer platform. I still have several of the older platforms which I prefer, but I so far haven't convinced Ellison to to manufacture them. I'm trying, because I think most people would actually like to have both. So we are using our multi-purpose platform, and tab 2 is on the top, tab 1 is the next one down. We need to open to tab 1. And what you're going to see is somewhere on that multi-purpose platform, you're going to see an embossing folder. And that's how you know that is the correct tab to be working on. Now, if you try to put all your sandwiches together and send it through with tab 2, it won't fit. It's not going to let you. So you know it's too thick. You know you have to open it up to tab 1. And you see that little embossing folder? That's what you're looking for. Now, any translucent embossing folder is it would be used on tab 1. So it doesn't matter if it's an X-Cut embossing folder or a Sizzix embossing folder or a Doris embossing folder. It makes no difference. A Cuttlebug embossing folder. If it's translucent like this, see how you can kind of see through it, but it's not crystal clear? You're going to use tab 1 on your multi-purpose platform. Now I've put my paper in, and I'm going to grab my Do Not Cut plate, which it really doesn't matter because this doesn't cut into it anyway. I'm going to put my embossing folder right down. I'm going to grab my second clear plate, and I am going to send it right on through. Now normally, once you send it through, we would be done, but we're not done this time. Why? Because it has that cutting feature. So I sent it through like that. I'm going to rotate it a quarter turn and send it back through. Just like if we were die cutting a wafer die that is a little more intricate, how we send it through one direction and then we rotate it and send it back through. That way the rollers under our machine, the rollers here, will hit this embossing folder in a completely different way so that all the little pieces, all the little dies will get cut. Now I'm gonna move this on over. And, oh, you can even see they're already just being left behind. And my little pieces have been cut out. So I'm just gonna pop them on out. So not only did my folder emboss, but my folder cut too. All those cute little hearts, aren't they darling? And it just adds a little bit more something something to your embossing folder. And all you did was roll it through once, quarter turn, and roll it through again. And look at how stinking cute is that. These are the new X-Cut Cut and Emboss folders by Docraft. There's 6 styles, and they're easy to use. If you love embossing folders, this takes your embossing folder to the next level. Totally takes it to the next level. So all we did was put our paper in and roll it straight through our Big Shot or our Big Kick or our Vagabond machine, because of course we prefer Sizzix machines because they stand the test of time, and we embossed it. If you've never seen embossing before, this is the easiest way to make a card, to make a layout, to make a mat. It adds texture, it adds dimension. It's just easy. The bang for your buck on a piece of paper is incredible. And of course, we use other things besides paper. We use glimmer sheets, and we use dotty, and we use foils, and I mean, there's lots you can emboss, but lovely. So that's the first thing I want to show you, because that was pretty easy peasy. The next thing I want to show you, I'm going to use a different folder. I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to use a different folder. This one happens to be, I don't know if you can see it in there. It happens to be the champagne glasses, like the Celebrate. So that's the one I'm going to use. And again, where you see the white is where it's going to cut out. The paper's going to come out. Every place else is going to be an embossing feature. Now I am going to use my bedazzled paper. This is simply defined bedazzled paper, and can you see it? It has a slight sheen to it. It has a flat back, standard back, and a beautiful sheen to the front, and this is bedazzled by Simply Defined, and it comes in packs. I've got 4 different packs, and there's 24 colors. But this is what I'm going to show you next, because I want to take it to the next level. So again, with the manufacturer's name to the bottom, I don't want to be able to read that. I'm going to open up my folder and put my paper in with the sheen facing up. So if this was patterned paper that you wanted to emboss, you need to be able to see the pretty side. If you are embossing and you see the side you don't like coming through the embossing folder, it's backwards. You need to have it on your table, open it up, and see the pretty side of the paper. And as long as you can see the pretty side of the paper and the logo is on the back, you know with this particular embossing folder, you are thumbs up, you are good to go. So I'm going to bring it back over my machine. And people ask all the time, what's the difference between the Big Kick and the Big Shot? Well, the Big Shot is sold by us little independent retailers, and the Big Kick are sold by like Michael's and Hobby Lobby, I think, and more Joann's. It's more of the big box store. Does that mean there's anything different between them? No, they're both great machines. People want to know about the Vintage machine. Yeah, if the Vintage machine is a Sizzix Vintage machine, it's again the same thing. It's not just for jewelry. They just branded it for Vintage. It doesn't matter. If you can get it at a great buy, buy it. Really, hold on. Really, the Vintage machine is exactly the same. If it's that brownie one from Sizzix and it says this, Vintage Big Shot or Big Vintage Big Kick, whatever it is, and it's at a great deal, it will do all of this too, okay? And a Big Kick and a Big Shot, pretty much exactly the same, except for the color and where you buy it from. And then there's always the Tim Holtz Vagabond, which is completely different. We're not gonna go there. Okay, so, I wanna make sure my camera doesn't go off table. Okay, so, I've got my multi-purpose platform. Doesn't matter if it's the long or the small. I've opened from tab 2, I've opened to tab 1, I've got my do not cut plate, I've got my embossing folder with my pretty paper facing me, the logo is on the back side, I can't see the logo, my second clear plate, and I'm going to send it through my machine. And it glides really nice. It's not hard to push it through at all. Just like a regular embossing folder. Then I am just going to do a turn. If you keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and not turning it, it's going to keep hitting the rollers the exact same way. You have to turn it so that roller now hits the embossing folder in a completely different way. And that's true for your dies too. So back and forth. See, cut that piece out. and take my little pokey tools. Not all the time is it gonna fall out that simple. This has got a few little stars up there. I need to poke those stars out with a little pokey tool. And there we go. So that is on shimmer paper. Now, why did I do it on my bedazzled paper? Well, because bedazzled paper is a sandable paper, which means I can take my sand it gadget and I can sand this paper and it will help bring the embossing up. It's true if you have coordinations paper. We sell the coordinations paper, the brights and the neutrals and the pastels, because that paper is a color core paper. But if you want to sand, you have to have something that is sandable. A plain piece of paper, this is just plain cardstock. It's the same color all the way through. If I try to sand this, nothing's gonna change about it. It's gonna stay exactly the same because it's the same color all the way through. And I could sand and sand and sand, and all I'm gonna do is eventually put a hole in the paper. But because the bedazzled has that sheen on the top, that means we can sand some of that sheen off and expose the standard, the regular color paper underneath. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that real quick. I've got my Sand It gadget, which is just a nice little sander made by Coordinations, and the sandpaper stays on via Velcro, and you get several sheets of it when you buy it. It's $3.50, and then the refills are like $1.20. Really inexpensive. What's nice about it is that it's meant for paper, so the grit isn't too heavy. Now I'm gonna sand. And where the embossing has left, it's raised, my Sand It gadget is hitting those spots. And it's sanding off a little bit of that shimmer to expose the darker color underneath. So the background of this will still have a beautiful sheen to it, but the embossing will have more of a matte velvet finish. So can you see how the background kept the sheen, but everything else kind of has this beautiful matte velvet finish to it. Really pretty. Subtle, very subtle. It's not an in-your-face type of bam. It is a beautiful feel and look, and it gives that contrast. So the champagne glasses, the flutes just pop, and up here you can see the difference. It just helps that embossing pop a little bit, and you will find that same with the Coordinations paper. It just kind of helps the embossing pop just a little bit. Now and then I've got my mess here, so I've got my little cleanup tool here, my little cleanup. This is about 1/8 of the size of the cleanup cloth. It's pretty huge. I cut it down. This is, like I said, about 1/8 of the size. And then to get rid of all of it just picks it all up. You can use it for glitter, you can use it for embossing powder, you can use it for sanding. It's just an all-purpose little thing, and it's not too expensive. So we've sanded. Now in earlier YouTubes, I showed you how to take an ink and put ink all over your embossing folder, and then put your paper in and send it through, and that ink transfers. I did that in the Sizzix embossing folder YouTube maybe a month ago, about a month ago, because we're filling those orders now. So not quite a month ago. Oh, maybe it was the 9th, April 9th. I'm thinking it was April 9th. So 3 weeks. So that, if you want to go back and see how to do that, where you take just standard ink, put it all over, and then put a piece of paper in there, close it up, and send it through. I'm not going to do that this time because this has a very particular design. It's not an all-over background pattern. There is places you're going to want to color and places you're not going to want to color. So I am going to take another embossing folder, and I'm going to take a piece of this is my 100-pound cardstock. I'm going to put it in there and line it up. It's just plain white 100-pound cardstock put inside my embossing folder. I'm going to bring back over my Big Shot and we're just going to roll it on through. So again, my multi-purpose platform, open to tab 1, my do not cut plate, my embossing folder. Because it's plain paper, it doesn't matter which side you put up or down because it's white both sides, but definitely my logo to the bottom so I don't see it, and send it on through. And then what are we gonna do? We're gonna open it up and we're gonna rotate it. Do you have to rotate it? Yes, you do. This has got cutting edges in it. That's different than a standard embossing folder. So yes, you really want to rotate it. If you don't, it still may cut. Every machine is a little different. You know, the older your machine gets, the looser the looser it is, which means, you know, it might need a shim every now and then to cut. The newer your machine is, the tighter the fit is. But this has got cutting elements to it that an embossing folder typically never has. I've never seen it before. This is our first time ever having it. So yes, you want to treat it like a die. So we do rotate our dies and send it back through. And my feeling is it's better to send it back through than to not and then find that it didn't cut all the way through. So I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to put it over. There goes the center. And here we go. Now this one has got tiny little flowers. Tiny little flowers. And I'm going to tell you, those little flowers are not going to just fall right out. See that tiny little flower? They're not just going to fall right on out. You need to just take your little tweezers and poke those bad boys. And then they will come out. So you can't just, usually I'll do like this and everything will fall out. That's not going to happen for these. You're just going to take your little tweezers and you're going to pop them right on out. Now I'm not going to do that for this one because it's going to take too long, but I do have one by the magic of TV. Presto, there it is, all done. Now this one has got a beautiful rose right here and some flowers and some leaves. It's gorgeous, it's lovely. But I want to make it better. I want to embellish it because to put ink all over the front and the back, I'm not going to be very specific about where I get to put my color. And in this one, because it's got the opening here where I can put my sentiment or a picture, oh my gosh, I want to be specific about what I color. So usually I would try and find a way to do this as inexpensively as possible. And I will tell you, sometimes there just is the right tool for what you want to do. So what I'm going to be working with are brush sticks. And these are by Imagine Crafts, which also is known as Sukaniko. These are brush sticks and they're wonderful. Yes, they have a very specific purpose. Could you do this? When you see what I'm doing, you're going to say, well, I could use a Q-tip. No, you can't. Trust me. Hold on. Trust me. I tried. No can do. What happens is the Q-tip gets all fuzzy. It doesn't work. You can't do it with a makeup sponge either, because usually I'll use the makeup sponges from Walmart and I'm happy with those. But no, I want to be very specific where I put the color. So sometimes there just really is a tool that you need to do this. And that's why I have the brush sticks for you today, because it's the right tool for the right job. My husband, Mr. SMS, is going to say, did you really just say that? I can't tell you how many times I've gone into his toolbox to get, so I needed to hammer something, but there wasn't a hammer, but there was a wrench and that's heavy, so I could hammer with it. He's like, there is the right tool for the right job. I know I'm going to hear this. Hopefully he doesn't watch all the way through. know half of you are going, I go into my husband's toolbox too. I am forbidden from his toolbox because I'll just grab whatever I think will work and then let's go. Okay, so while you do need a good tool to do this, you don't need a specific ink. You can use your mementos, any of your mementos, your dewdrop size, your full size, your brilliance, whatever. You can use your gelatos to do this as long as you put it on your craft mat and get it a little bit wet. You can use your gelatos. You can use your Pitt big brush markers to do this. You can use any of the distress inks to do this. If you've got a memento marker, you can use it. I don't want you to think that you have to buy anything specific in the way of inks to do this technique. You do need to have the right tool though to apply the ink. So I've got a couple brush sticks here. They've got two tips. This one's kind of pointy and this one's kind of roundy. So this is dome and this is brush. Do you need one for every color of ink you own? Absolutely not. I have one for color families. So this is pink. So do I just use it with pink inks? No, I use it with pinks, I use it with reds, because you can clean them. You can get that ink off there and use it again. I mean, even if it stains, it's gonna stain the tip, but who cares? If the ink is gone and you can do a red and it's not mixing with the pink, fine. Do I have one for every green I own? Absolutely not. I use this one for any green. When I'm done, I need to change my green, I just dab it off, clean it off, and move on. It's not about having a million of these to use. It's about having a couple of them for the color families that you're going to want to use. And I go back and forth and mix and match. I'll mix a memento with a distress, and I'll use the same brush tip because it's in the same color family. Makes no difference to me. So I don't want you to think that you have to have 45 of these because you have 45 different ink pads. No way, Jose. Just get for enough for color families and you're going to be fine. Then it's a matter of, do you like the roundy tip or do you like the pointy tip? And it really depends upon what we're going to be coloring, whether you use the roundy tip or the pointy tip, and a little bit of a preference. So let me show you how to use these so you can get started. I am just going to grab a memento ink. This is Rosebud. It comes full size. It comes in a marker. It comes in the dewdrop size. And I'm going to take my brush tip and I'm just going to go straight into it. And then where my embossing is, where my rose is, I'm going to gently go over the top and color. Because I'm being specific in what I want, you can't use a big makeup sponge. This gives you the control that you need, like a pencil. And allows you to be soft in what you do. And just add the color where you want it. They're so pretty. I think that's it. So I have now started to color my rose. You can't do that if we take this and try to go over the top because this is too big. You don't have any control over it. We're trying to be very specific. Next, I want to color some of my leaves. So let's change it up. Let's use a marker. I don't care if it's a memento marker, a Pitt big brush marker, a Tim Holtz distress marker, makes no difference to me. I'm gonna put it right on my craft mat. Put some of that color down there. Take my brush tip, pick up some of that color in there, and color my leaves. With this technique, it's about using the inks that you've got to enhance the embossing folder. Can you use this with your other embossing folders? Sure. Let's add a little more. And color it in. It's so pretty and so easy. And because you're being specific about where you put your color, you can also get in and do a little bit of shading and a little bit of highlighting. Maybe that's all I want to color. Just get one without a tear in it. Maybe that's all I want to color. I just want that pop in the corner. Maybe that's it. That's all I want. You can do that with these. I haven't found something else that works as good, lasts as long, and lets you rinse them off. And half the time I don't even do that. Half the time I take a yucky piece of paper and I'll just blot until my color comes off, and for me, that's clean. I know some of you will want to take a handy wipe and wipe it off, and you're welcome to. I just move on. So I used a pit marker there. I'm just gonna take it and use Memento, and I can go through and let's find another, here's another leaf down here. And I'm just gonna color it in, and I'm just gonna hit those high spaces. That's all it's gonna do, is hit those high spaces and leave that color behind. So you've got some definition. Now I've colored those leaves, and again, maybe that's all I want to do. You can see the difference between the colors of the pit pen and the Memento, and I would just take and sponge it off and be done and move on. I certainly would not have one for every single color I own. So pretty. This is on flat paper. You can absolutely do it on the shimmer paper too. Let's take a shimmer and let's just cut some of the hearts. So here's the bedazzled white, which is absolutely beautiful. I think the bedazzled white is my favorite with these embossing folders because they're so pretty and so elegant, and that shimmer white just adds the most elegant of touches to it. So I've got my shiny side facing me. I've got my logo to the back. I've got my multi-purpose platform open to tab number 1, my do not cut plate, my embossing folder, my other clear plate, and then I'm going to send it on through. We need to add send it on through to a Stacyism. Because apparently I say that a lot too. Then I'm going to rotate and I'm going to send it back. Okay. Open it up and take my little pokey tool and start poking out my little hearts. And that shimmer paper just adds the most beautiful sheen to it. But I can color on top of the shimmer paper too, absolutely. So let's try purple. I've got my little pointy tool. And I can go in, grab some color, and just go right on top of the hearts. And color in my hearts. So this allows me to add color where I want it without getting it all over the rest of my beautiful embossing. And the Docraft's X-Cut, the cut and emboss, first on the market with them, where not only do you get to emboss, but you get to cut little bits and pieces out just to add an extra little bam to your embossing. One step, you don't have to emboss and cut and then cut, or cut and then emboss it. So I just go in and start coloring my little purple flower or hearts. Really easy to do. And they're priced affordable. I want to say they're $9.50 an embossing folder. And then they'll of course be on a YouTube Yummy. So not only are you getting an embossing, but you're getting a cutting feature, all for they're 20% off. So what is that? It's $95 and $95. That's $1.90. So you're getting them for $8 something, $7.99, $8. A really good price. And because you have options, because you can either just emboss with it and move on. You can emboss and color. You can emboss and sand with the right piece of paper. You have lots of beautiful options. All right, so, oh, see, I was working on this one too. I was playing with that one. I started to color up here and down there and over here. And it's just easy. It's a very light touch. You're just hitting, I don't know if that's a flower or not. You're just hitting the highest points of the embossing. Just a really light touch. And because the brush sticks let you hold them like a pencil, you have control over what you're doing. I think that's a flower. I'm going with yes. You have control over what you're doing. And I need a little bit of my green. And with the brush sticks, it really is about preference. Do you prefer the pointy tip, or do you prefer the domey tip? The finer the line, sometimes it's easier to use the, oh, I just put it in my purple. Wouldn't you know it? All right, well, I cleaned it off. Oops. So you just sit there and put the color where you want the color to be. You can do this with any kind of an embossing folder. It doesn't have to be the cut and emboss. You can use this technique with all your embossing folders, but sometimes there is the right tool for the right job, and you just can't skimp. You can't go grab your Q-tips or anything like that, because it just doesn't work as well. It just doesn't. The Q-tips start to get all, loose at the end and start to come unraveled, and you just don't have the control that you will have with the brush tips. And the cut and emboss, now couldn't you imagine just putting beautiful things in the center, even a picture or an invitation? They're lovely, absolutely lovely. I also want to tell you that I prefer these, the cut and emboss is almost an exact A2 size. Exactly an A2 size. So that means when you use it, if you want to stick it on top of an A2 card, it's going to cover the card entirely. This is where the A6 cards that I told you about last week that I prefer, people are like, well, why do you like the A6 better? Well, because if you have something A2 size, I like to put down a first mat, and then I like to put down the actual item so that it's matted twice. I like that, and that's probably why I prefer an A6 card over an A2, because you can take an A2 item and have a mat behind it. I know a lot of you said, well, why did you make your contour dies A2 size? Well, I made them A2 size because they will work perfectly with an A2 card, but they will also work with an A6 card. If I made it for an A6 size, it would look like it was cut off on the ends. So that's probably one of the reasons most I like about an A6 is it lets you do a back mat on your cards or your layouts, and then you take the A2 product and lay it on top of that. It just gives you a nice little mat around the edges. So what did we go over today? And that's the Simply Defined card bases called Distinctions, and they are 200 pound, and you can hear it. What did we go over today? We talked about the new embossing folders, the cut and embossing folders from X-Cuts, which is by Docraft, and they're out of the United Kingdom. So not only do they emboss, but those little white pieces allow you to cut as well. And they just cut the cutest little things, and they make the most beautiful of frames. Mat somebody's picture behind there, they're absolutely gorgeous. We talked how you can just emboss them. We talked how you can emboss and sand with the right paper, bedazzled paper from Simply Defined, or a coordinations paper by Doris. Absolutely. And then we talked about how you can go in and take brush sticks and any ink, doesn't matter what ink you have, go in there and start to color. And it's just, they're just so pretty. I'm trying to get a backing. Mat that onto your card. Actually, I would have had that a little bit bigger around the edges, but that's me. Mat that onto your card and send it off. And you have taken a plain white piece of paper and you have blinged it. Put maybe a little bit of bling, you know, in the little flowers. Just remember that on some of these flowers, you're just gonna have to poke. This isn't a wafer die where I can do this and everything falls out. The big pieces fall out really easy peasy, but you might have to take your little tweezers and give them a little poke and then give them a little pull, and then out they come. But I think it's so pretty. I hope you guys agree. All right, I have tons of samples to show you, and I wanna show you those, and then I wanna show you the product. I better put the lids on. Well, maybe. Oh, there's the purple. Okay, and also, do you see mine? I don't know if you can see it. Can you see how much glitter is embedded in there? Who cares? It's still good. I use this all the time. Yes, there's glitter in there. I obviously glittered something and stamped and inked something up that had glitter on it. It's okay. It's still perfectly fine. And with the mementos, you can buy re-inkers, so you never have to throw them away, even if all you have are the small sizes and you don't have full-size pads. Just buy the re-inker and you can re-ink them as much as you want. All right, let's get that out of the way and let me show you some samples. Now, downstairs, like I said, they're doing the make and take right now. So we did this one. And what I want to show you is that we matted these straight to the card base. That white underneath is actually the card itself. We went straight to the card base. So we did a whole bunch of different colors. So everybody has their choice downstairs, and these are Bloom Flowers by Kaiser Craft. Super cute. And we did use the bedazzled paper. You can see it's the bedazzled paper on all of these. They all have that beautiful sheen. You see that beautiful sheen? All right, so that's what everybody's doing downstairs. Pretty, huh? Wouldn't that make a lovely Mother's Day card? It's like ready to go, all done. Happy Mother's Day. Even if it's your aunt or your best friend's mom, or the mom that raised you, or your Girl Scout leader who was like your mom, it's a lovely card. All right, then we have some other samples. Now we used my glimmer sheets for the background of this. Can you see how glimmery it is? And then we used Bedazzled for the front to make that card. And again, this is on an A6. And you can see how we were able to back mat. We were able to get the 2 mats. If we were using an A2 card, we really would have had to have trimmed down the actual embossing folder, the paper in the embossing folder. So there's one, and Yvette, Miss Yvette did all of these. This one's so cute. Look at how beautiful this is. It cut the heart out of the center. She fussy cut a piece of paper. This looks like Bo Bunny paper. Oh my gosh, is that beautiful? Let me get these out of the way. Well, I just put that one right back in the way. So beautiful. Love this. And again, this is on an A6, so it shows you that you can add that mat. Here we've got Happy Anniversary, where she used a piece of patterned cardstock on the back. She did a black mat and then cut out a beautiful piece of patterned cardstock to fill the frame in, and it's got the champagne glasses and the bottle, and it says Happy Anniversary. And she used a little bling. So Happy Anniversary. I love how she took paper and just cut the paper to fit. She took a pretty piece of paper and did that. She did that with this one too. Now this is a larger card. This is a 5x7. But same thing. Here's the back, here's the mat, and she just the mat here filled in the frame on that heart. A little bit of the bloom flowers, some bling, and is that not gorgeous? Love, love, love. So pretty. Not sure whose paper. That looks like Bo Bunny too. So pretty. Then she went all blingy. This is a piece of glimmer sheet. It's Simply Defined glimmer sheet. The little flowers are what cut out, and she filled it with bling. So if you love bling, Yvette did this one just for you. So you can see the embossing. Yes, the glimmer sheets will emboss. Elizabeth Craft's shimmer sheets will emboss, absolutely. Will the shimmer sheets cut? Not so much. Will the glimmer sheets cut? Yes. There's a difference between a shimmer sheet and a glimmer sheet. The glimmer sheets by Simply Defined, which are mine, have a paper back and you will be able to cut. Yes. Then we have, here's the start of one that never got finished. This is when I say, Yvette, you're out of time. Just like Belinda has to do the bride without the head, maybe I'll have Yvette finish this card for you and show it to you. But then she also did this one, where she used the technique where we colored. And then she threw, of course, she threw a little bit of stickles over the top just to add a little bit of bling. It's just beautiful. This is a beautiful card. All done with whatever inks you have, brush sticks, and the Docraft's cut and embossed. And folders, they're not dies, they're folders. They happen to be embossing folders that have dies built into it. Lovely. Look at how pretty that is. Who wouldn't want to get this in the mail? So now for the product. All right, so the plain paper that we used was the Simply Defined Colorations. You get 2 sheets of all these colors. It's value priced at $9.99, and we released it last week. And I mean, yeah, all of this is in there. You get all of that and a little bit more. Then we also have been using the Bedazzled, the white. You get 18 sheets of white shimmer bedazzled paper, or we have it in the packs. And I think I'm missing a pack. I'm missing one pack. We've got the cools, which give you kind of more of the soft colors, the jewels, which give you those deep, rich, beautiful colors, and then primaries, and we also have it in the metals, which are the browns and the blacks and the grays. So we've used those today. We have used the new Simply Defined Distinctions card bases in both A2 and A6 size, 200-pound weight card bases, 25 cards, 25 envelopes in each pack, and they are $8.99 a pack, 200-pound though, wow. And then last but not least, let's talk about what's really important, which is the Cut and Emboss by Docraft. Oh, I think we got them priced wrong. We do, we have them priced wrong. Huh. Well, I tell you what, we've priced them all at $8.99, and I have a feeling they're supposed to be $9.50. We're going to leave them at $8.99. So not only are you going to get them at 20% off, you're going to get them at a lesser price because we've priced them wrong. Oops. All right, well, here's the bride. Of course, it could be prom. It could be debutante. It could be quinceanera. It could be Disney princess. It could be whatever you want. Here's the beautiful rose that we did, where we were coloring in the rose. Here's the all over the heart. I did that one too. All over heart. Here is the champagne glasses for anniversary, for celebration, for you party, whatever you've got going on. This is a great anniversary one though. That's a really great anniversary. And anniversary can be hard to get because it also works for wedding, and it also works for a job promotion. You're toasting them. Congratulations. It's a good folder when you need something for like that, because that's kind of hard to find out there in the market. Here we have the all over flowers. So all of those little white spots make their own little flower. And then of course it embosses. And last but not least, we have the heart. And that heart is what did that card. So pretty. So that heart did this card here. All right, everybody, I'm gonna tilt on up and I'm going to say, it is me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple, and I don't even think it's been an hour. Oh, who would have thought? Or maybe just an hour. Oh, I'm very excited. Where are you going to find all of these great products? You're going to find them at scrapbookingmadesimple.com or visit us in store. They're going to be on a YouTube Yummy. The embossing folders will be on a YouTube Yummy. The Simply Defined product is obviously already... Oh, somebody's walking on back and forth. I bet that's Mr. SMS going back and forth. The packages, I can see them. So anyway, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. The Simply Defined stuff is already our prices are already as low as I can get them. They're value priced. We will put the brush sticks on a YouTube Yummy, so those will also be 20% off. And by George, our oops is your woohoo moment. They're not supposed to be $8.99. They're supposed to be $9.50, but we're going to leave them at $8.99 and take the 20% off. So, and there will be an I Want It All bundle, so one click gets you all 6 folders. All right, you guys, it's me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple. I will see you next Saturday for Saturdays with Stacy. Woohoo! Oh, next Saturday. Okay, we're heading towards National Scrapbooking Day. Oh yeah, next week I'm going to see you a lot. I'll be doing a countdown to National Scrapbooking Day with all of the doorbuster deals that we have. It is amazing. So I hope you stay tuned for that too. Bye everybody. Toodles.